Well, hello there, nerd. Welcome to episode number 31 of the That Kind of Nerd podcast. So we want to give you the opportunity to be a voice on our show. This week, at the end of the show, we're going to share a voicemail that someone had left for us about Supergirl. They basically were venting about it too. And the reason that they left this voicemail is because they're interested in winning a free t-shirt that says that cat to male ratio is rather low. Basically explaining Brian's living situation and how he's not outnumbered by cats, ladies. It's okay to come over. All you have to do is very simple, is leave us a relevant voicemail about anything that's nerd related, something about our show, something that you've observed, something you think that we should know about. Super easy, just call 484-373-4119. That's 484-373-4119. 4119. Links are also in the show notes, so make sure you click on that. You basically have until the end of November of 2015, but hell, I may extend that depending on how, what kind of entries we get, but get in there now. Get the opportunity to go ahead and get some free t-shirts. Who doesn't like a free t-shirt? I know you do. So make sure you also are following us on Twitter and on Facebook at That Kind of Nerd. And continue to help us check out. So I'm not going to keep you any longer. This episode is hilarious. It was a pretty great conversation, and we can't wait to have you guys become part of it. Here we go. Let's start the show. Well, greetings, listeners. Welcome aboard. Yeah, we're a ship right now. I'm your captain speaking. We're going to have some light turbulence this episode, but hey, everything's going to be okay. By the way, we're not going to be handing out peanuts. I don't know why, but people have allergies and they're all crazy about it. So we're going to go to pretzels.
You didn't do justice to the American airplane pilot. You have to. Ladies and gentlemen, we're flying at cruising altitude, and we're gonna hit a little turbulence, but just a little bit. You should be fine back there. Just keep your seatbelts buckled.
Please make sure that your tray tables are in the upright position.
Now you got it. There you go. And there's the lead.
It's good. Like there's a soundboard that they press that makes the
I have no idea. It's every flight I've ever been on. Every single flight.
There's probably a training class.
I'll tell you what, I look forward to the flight attendants who can make the whole thing fun.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They pepper in words that you don't expect to hear up there, like meat gazer and things like that. That's not necessarily. I'm just saying they pepper
meat
words.
Meat gazer?
I mean, maybe could be meat gazer. I'm not saying it is, but there's.
What is that? That's not even a word.
I can't move forward until you explain that.
They pepper words in there. Just any.
No. I don't. I understand what you're saying about the flight attendants. What is a meat gazer?
Yes.
What does it sound like a meat gazer is?
I don't know. That's why I'm
afraid.
Asking.
Look, I'm not going to explain it to you.
It's something that I either find in a butcher shop or I find in prison, and I don't know which one it is.
It's a term as old as time.
You're going to make me Urban Dictionary this, and I'm going to be afraid.
Dude, I don't know. I mean,
no.
It's my brother-in-law has been saying it for eons, so I stole it from him.
Just so everyone is aware, I did get the check from RedTube this week from all your corporate sponsorship you gave them last episode. So
like
appreciate
75 cents?
that.
80 cents?
Yep, absolutely.
Hashtag meat gazer.
Any clicks? Yeah, search that one. Any clicks we can generate would be. Hey, look, you brought it up. We didn't bring it up. You brought it up.
It was an aside. It was a joke. It was
game.
A silly dad joke that I've made a million times.
Fair game.
So before we go too far into the topic then, and speaking of last week's episode, the mea culpas need to come out. The CJ's apology corner / corrections department needs to come in. I'm going to let Josh handle the statement here.
The corrections department. So we talked about YouTube Red, and we didn't research it enough. And a good friend of mine, John Yearsley, who is a regular listener, sent us a message saying, "You guys really missed the mark on YouTube Red." And so what he wanted us to know, because he is as devoted to Google and the Android OS as I am to iOS. What he wanted us to know is that $9.99 a month, you get Google Play All Access, which he claims is the same as Apple Music, commercial-free YouTube, and YouTube Music, which is commercial-free music videos. And if you already subscribe to Google Play All Access, you automatically get the other two. He believes it's an amazing deal and speculates that they are releasing a family plan for up to 6 people for $14.99, which is the same price as Apple Music. So, John, I hope I've apologized sincerely enough for not fully researching an Android topic before speaking about it. I promise you it will never happen again. And the rest of the listeners, my apologies.
I think it'll mean much, much more coming from CJ. Go ahead, CJ.
I'm sorry. I was wrong. I didn't fully research.
Whoa. No. Hang on. Say it slower. Say it slower so I can enjoy this. Go ahead.
My fellow Americans.
No. No accent. No accents. No impressions. Just say those words. Those 2 little words. Just 2 little words.
I was wrong.
Oh, it felt so good. All right. I'm good.
So, look, I will say this to you two. John is as vehemently anti-Apple as I was in the beginning. I through a year of working with him, I couldn't change his mind. But he was a great mentor to me for my first year with Square Trade. And when he says that I missed the mark, I believe that I missed the mark. So, and to all the other listeners, please, if you have a point of contention, you got to let us know. Thank you, John, for chiming in. I appreciate the feedback.
Much appreciated. Thank you. So I want to move on to some sad news. Mythbusters, the show that's been running for close to 14 years now? 13 years.
Yeah, up at the 13.
13 years.
That's the one that ZZ Top started filming after they stopped being a band?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
As ZZ Top and a Walrus, right? That's what they are actually announcing that beginning January 9th, 2016, it will be their last season. Just to kind of put this into perspective, so far, currently, they have conducted 2,950 experiments, busting 1,050 myths, and creating basically 900 explosions in their run so far.
Can I ask a question? Can you they've tested how many myths?
They have tested over 2,950 experiments. I don't know how many myths, but they've busted 1,050 of them.
So it stands to reason that they conducted 3,000 experiments for 3,000 myths, and they were successful a third of the time. Is that what you're telling me?
I don't have the statistic that way, but yes. Well, no, they've busted a couple myths.
They've done a little over 2,000 experiments, and they busted 1,000 myths. They're about 50-50.
But that also means that they've done a couple experiments for one myth. You know, you've got to do like 3 or 4 experiments.
Right.
Oh, okay. I've never watched the show, so I don't know.
You've never watched Mythbusters?
No, I've seen them like on, when they make like a parody appearance on movies or TV or whatever.
Yeah.
I've seen them there.
They're in the Max Landis, Wrestling Isn't Wrestling.
Like I saw them there, but right. I've never watched an episode.
I'm a little...
I didn't even know there were that many myths to be busted.
Right.
The internet is full of them. So Jamie Heineman and Adam Savage are going to be handing up their fedoras.
Maybe they just ran out of myths.
I don't know.
Maybe the only myths they had left were like, do popped collars actually make you a douchebag? And so they were like, maybe we should.
No. That's not a myth. That's fact.
That's very true.
It's proven.
So apparently for this last season, they're going to do their biggest stuff, which is including car stunts, viral videos, rockets and explosions, as well as, a couple other fan submitted things that they've been getting repeats throughout the year.
If I ask them to debunk Penn and Teller, will they do that?
It's worth a try.
They will not, because they've already filmed this last season.
I think the little one talks, and I want them to
you don't need the
myth.
Mythbusters. You need a private eye.
Here's the deal. This is actually, you're not paying attention close enough. It's actually a ventriloquism act. The little one does all the talking, and the big guy just moves his lips. He's just a dummy. That's how that works.
I don't know, dude. Penn Jillette's a big dude. You just insulted him on the air.
I'm sure he's already probably poofed into my house to kick my ass. And as soon as we're done recording, I'll be dead.
He will saw you in half.
Look,
so listen, this is a big deal. Hold on. So because Mythbusters, real quick, I just want to take the
moment. No. I want to know, what should I be watching? Mythbusters? I need to watch. Can I binge watch it?
Yeah, absolutely. You can. Here's what's going to happen. Are you ready? Starting December 23rd and ending July 3rd. the Science Channel, which is part of the Discovery network, is actually going to be doing every Mythbusters ever. I believe that they're on one of the streaming services, and I don't know which one it is, but it's Netflix or Hulu. I know it's one of those two.
Pretty sure it's on Netflix.
And, this is a show that's been on for 13 years doing science. I mean, I can't really think of any show that's been on for more than 5 years that did science.
How long was Bill Nye the Science Guy on?
Not for 13, maybe 6 years. I had to Google
too
it
short
now.
No matter what. He should still be doing it.
I mean, he's still doing science. He's maybe not just doing.
Oh no,
Bill Nye
I
the
know he
Science
still
Guy.
does science. He should still be airing it.
Hey, Mythbusters is unavailable to stream on Netflix,
Womp womp.
so you know.
And Bill Nye the Science Guy ran from 93 to 98.
That's way too short.
So
they should bring
there
him
were
back.
5 seasons.
They
5
should
seasons of
reboot Bill Nye the Science Guy.
6 seasons.
I'm on board with Brian though. I think rebooting Bill Nye the Science Guy would be pretty awesome. I would love to see that, and I maybe like to see a show with him and Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I saw him speak while I was at college, and it was one of the greatest moments of my life.
I did see the other Mythbusters, Carrie Byron, Granny Maharo, and Tori Belleci. They
you
came to
got to meet
Kutztown.
Carrie Byron? So jealous.
I got to see them speak. I didn't necessarily get to meet them. I was working it, so I didn't actually get the chance to talk to them because I was working on lights and stuff.
So there are 67 episodes of Mythbusters available on Hulu. It's really only stuff from seasons 10 through 15.
What's the good stuff?
Well, I mean, I'm just saying I can't truly binge watch, but I
You
guess
can watch a bunch.
I guess a show like Mythbusters, right?
You don't need to start from the beginning.
There's no progression, right?
Yeah.
Right.
What's really cool is they do a lot of like theme episodes, like, hey, we're testing movie myths, and does this kind of explosion happen when you shoot a gas tank in a shark's mouth, and how the physics behind the Batmobile, that kind of stuff was awesome.
My favorite thing too was there was a myth from Alaska that a snowplow was going so fast that it hit a car right in the center and cut the car in half. And they were like, well, what do you need to do that? So they went to this place where they test missiles, which has this huge track, and they took a plow and they drove this car about 80 plus miles an hour as fast as you could make this tow truck go right through the middle of the car, and it didn't do anything.
88 miles an hour? Did they time travel?
So then they went ahead and they put a plow on.
Just keep pushing through the Back to the
rocket.
Future reference, CJ. It's fine.
That's what I was going to do. Put it on a rocket, shot it through it, at Mach 1 or 2, and then just incinerated this car. It was amazing. Perhaps the coolest one.
Okay. I mean,
Things blowing up. It's great.
They do a lot of explosions. It's pretty awesome.
I'm gonna check it out, but there's no progression, so I don't need to worry about where I start and where I finish for the listeners.
Yeah,
right?
no.
You can just mill around, right?
Yeah. Just
All right.
watch stuff.
If you are a person who wants to see it from start to finish, just set your DVR on the Science Channel from December 23rd to the 3rd and watch that at your leisure.
Can we talk about something that does have progression?
Absolutely. What do you have in mind?
I just finished Mad Men, like yesterday, and I just finished Mr. Robot today.
Oh my god!
I did not finish Mr. Robot.
So we won't talk about Mr. Robot. Wait. How far away are you?
I have 2 more episodes left.
Oh my goodness!
Like when everything gets awesome.
It's when everything happens.
Yes, everything. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. So no Mr. Robot, but Mad Men. I can let me say this. This is now I can't place it yet because I've only watched it once, but it's one of my favorite shows of all time. I love it. Start to finish, it was unbelievably good. I couldn't stop watching it. Many nights where I should have gotten more sleep than I did. But I'll say this. I've already started watching episode 1 again. So
Yeah.
like I have to rewatch it right now, but the progression, the story arc, I don't want to, just everyone needs to watch this show.
It took John Hamm to the last season of that show to win an Emmy. Can you believe that shit?
No, I get it. I mean, he was obviously there's a lot to him and the character, but that last season, man, there were many dimensions of his character in there.
Absolutely.
And he was unbelievable. The character that I was annoyed with through the first few seasons that got really good in the last two was Elizabeth Moss.
Yes.
The Peggy, she played Peggy in Mad Men. She was Zoe Bartlett in The West Wing, and she just was annoying to me for very many seasons. In the last two, hooked on her as well, and CJ likes Sally Draper, the young girl, and I don't like the character.
I liked seeing how she started off as a really young actress and then, was blossoming into this really smart person, like as it goes on. It's a cool arc.
Are you sitting there, Brian, because you haven't watched Mad Men?
Mad Men is not on his list.
Yeah, I haven't watched Mad Men.
It's so good.
Now it's on your list.
The other thing I like
the
about
ever-growing
that show,
list.
and what I don't want to spend too much time on this, but the thing I love about this show is just like how straight to period everything is too.
Oh, it was great.
Nothing is out of place.
It was great, and it was appalling, wasn't it?
Yep.
It was appalling to see some of the way that women were treated, especially the way that women were treated, especially. It was appalling to watch, but it was riveting. It was riveting TV. It was really good. I'll probably start watching it again right now at my leisure. Not motoring through.
I got hit somewhere. Your voice crawled into my head. I guess it was the one episode where I yelled at Brian as you. And right now, simultaneously, I am rewatching The Wire and The West Wing.
Okay, so you got my voice all in your head.
It's all in there. It's like you should watch some Aaron Sorkin, but you know what? When was the last time you watched The Wire? You should probably just get some McNulty back in you.
Which is, I'm a little bit politic, a little bit upscale, but a little bit hip hop in there too. That's me. That's Josh. Right? I'm just dirty enough for everybody to still love me.
It was man, and I'm on season 2 of both of these shows, and I don't know what my logic is, but I do The Wire for a few days and then do The West Wing for a couple others. I got a vacation coming up, so it's going to be me binge watching that stuff.
I'm gonna have to try doing that. I'm trying to mixing them up like that.
So before we jump on, I just want to say this, though. I know a lot of people are big fans of the Mythbusters, and if you do want to kind of show your support, they have a simple hashtag. It says Myth You Guys. Get it? It's like you had a lith beneath the myth. Myth You Guys on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, and you can say your personal goodbyes, and they're going to put them on the air. So if you're a huge Mythbusters fan, don't miss the opportunity to do it that way. And yeah, absolutely watch Mad Men. That show's phenomenal. So since we're talking about television, let's transition into this a bit. It's kind of wrapping up, or things are kind of gearing and shifting gears from the fall premieres that we had talked about a few weeks ago. And a couple of these shows are kind of wrapping up or getting into the middle of their seasons. And I just kind of want to check in and see how everyone's kind of progressing. So Brian, I'm a little curious, how you're doing with your fall TV right now.
I'm actually doing very well with my fall TV. Almost everything we talked about, I've at least checked out at least once or twice. I don't want to go through the entire list again, but everything is gearing up for like fall finales, and there's going to be like 6 weeks off for most of these shows. And if you want to kind of jump on board and catch up on Hulu or on demand, now would be like the perfect time to do that. But I just want to kind of touch on some recommendations that I would say. I don't know how much fall TV have you guys been watching? Not a lot, right?
It's, you know what? I've watched all of Heroes, I'm current. Doctor Who, I'm current. Arrow, Flash, current. These new shows that I've checked out, like I watched probably 30 minutes of Blind Spot and Limitless, and I went, not gonna invest in those yet. If they get renewed, I'll start watching them from the start.
I'll tell you what, Blind Spot is probably one of my recommendations as far as new fall shows go. Very good. It took an episode, like it doesn't really kind of pick up towards the end of that first episode, but it's really interesting. There's like the whole bigger plot line, bigger bad, who's behind all of this type of thing. Very cool. Is it as big who's behind all of this as White Collar was? Yeah,
and I know it's apples and oranges, but when I think of the big bad, right? I think.
Hold on, I think Brian's face is because he didn't watch White Collar.
I haven't seen White Collar.
God damn it, Brian. I can't take you anywhere.
CJ, you know what I'm saying about anywhere about the big bad at White Collar, right? Who done it? Who's in charge?
Right, but I don't
Okay,
But I don't. But I haven't watched. I haven't watched Blind Spot.
The only other show, and I hate mixing these genres at all because it's not crime, and it's like the only other show I can think of where there's a big like who's the big bad guy is Heroes. Is it like that?
A little. I think it's a little too early to tell.
If anything, Josh, the comparison I would make is Blacklist.
Another show I haven't seen.
No.
So listen, I think it's a little bit too early to tell about the overarching storyline, but I definitely think it's worth your time. It's about 8 episodes in, and it's definitely interesting enough to kind of keep you going and keep you guessing.
I think the cast list is good enough with Sullivan Stapleton alone, but I'm gonna need to see it get picked up for a second season before I watch anymore.
Okay, to each their own. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it immensely. I'm also, and this isn't going on fall break, but it is 2 episodes in. I am loving Ash vs. Evil Dead. So I know neither of you have watched it because neither of you have the cable package I have or care about Evil Dead. So
wait, what cable package do you have?
Look at me! I'm also goddamn fancy.
I have at least all the channels.
What channel is it on?
What's that?
What channel?
That's on Showtime.
It's on Stars.
Oh, Stars.
I have Stars.
It's on Stars. I mean, honestly, Bruce Campbell being Bruce Campbell in the role that made him famous, it's fantastic. It's enjoyable. It's funny, and it's that very campy, just blood everywhere type of show. I think it's fantastic. Josh, don't watch it. You're not going to like it.
CJ,
it's zombies, right?
Well, zombies are Deadites are not really zombies. They kind of
zombies. You can't rationalize.
They're Deadites. They're Deadites. They're different. Let's talk about Heroes, because up until 2 weeks ago, I would have said pass on this,
and then
it took 7 episodes to get interesting. Josh, that's still rough. It's
the same as the first season. It took a solid 6 episodes for the very first season of Heroes to start. Heroes Reborn told you everyone's story, right? They introduced you to all the characters and all of the backstory, and then they went back to a year in the past, gave you a back-to-back episode with a follow-up. Come on, dude.
I'm listen again. 2 episodes, like starting 2 episodes ago, it got
3
interesting.
Episodes. The two
flashbacks. This last week's episode with, I don't want to spoil anything, but with the guy who's running that center.
Yes,
that was awesome. That was awesome.
But of course, the episode, the last 2 were leading up to it. So
yeah,
it's the same thing that happened with the very. If you can't remember, you need to go rewatch. Heroes is one of my top 10 all time. I can't control it with that. It's the first 6 episodes were so bad. I was texting my buddy who recommended it to me. This is I can't keep watching this. He said, you just got to keep pushing through the first few. Look, Doctor Who.
Same way with Doctor Who, absolutely.
Episode 10 was when I was hooked. And it took until then. And Doctor Who is in my top 3 all time. So you can't measure how valuable it is to have that buildup followed by here's the real deal. Here's the story. And now that you see it and you like it, you can't wait until next week.
Yeah, no, I think it's gearing up to be something pretty special. Finally. So definitely, especially if you're a fan of that series, check it out. It's definitely worth your time.
The show that I have, I gotta get this off my chest. I just need some feedback on this, and I need someone else's eyes to tell me if I'm wasting my time. I'm watching The Grinder, and it's not a religious thing that I'm watching, but something about this show, when it clicks, holy shit, it clicks. It's hilarious. Rob Lowe is at his comedic best, but there's something about this show that just is off. And when it's off, it can get really tricky to watch. Have you guys watched this show at all?
I will. Not yet. I will. I'll watch a few episodes. These fall shows, unless they get picked up for another season, most of them I don't watch.
I've got a feeling that if The Grinder doesn't do something drastic soon, it's not going to go anywhere. But something about it has like huge potential to be great. Or I'm just looking at a season going, I'm wasting my time. I'm wasting my time. That's hilarious. Oh my God, I'm wasting my time. It's really weird. I can't figure it out. I need some feedback.
The problem
if
is,
you're watching this show and you've given up on it, let me know.
I wonder if the I'm wasting my time, that's hilarious, like coordinates with not Rob Lowe, Rob Lowe.
No, the supporting cast in it's pretty good too. It's weird. I can't describe it. It's the problem is I can't articulate, but
Pretty Good
something about the
doesn't cut
show
it.
is off.
When it comes to a lot of sitcoms, like that supporting cast has got to be strong. It's what made Parks and Rec so great.
You know what I'm
Kevin
loving
from
this
the Wonder Years is not the right lead.
His role, like his character,
He's the straight man.
not even really. He's the guy just going, am I the only one fucking noticing this? Like, am I the only one who's like, this is ridiculous?
So it's the Odd Couple.
A little bit, yes. But it also just, anyway, I can't figure it out. I'm sure a listener out there is like, here's why this show sucks. Just tell me why this show sucks. Or, hey, here's why you really should invest in this show. Give me the reason I'm going to do it. Do you know what show Brian and I are both watching that I'm really telling you should recommend, you should watch? And
If you say The Walking Dead, I'm going to tell you to shut up.
You should watch this with your family, Josh. Go watch The Muppets.
The Muppets is great.
The Muppets is phenomenal.
It's so good. It's very funny. It's very.
What time is it on?
8:00 on Tuesdays.
The kids are in bed at 8.
Well, DVR
DVR
it and then have them watch it like during the weekend or
They
something.
don't want to watch that stuff. They're watching.
Yes, they watch The
don't.
Muppets.
They're watching other stuff.
Watch The Muppets as a family. It's great.
Surprisingly
It's really
great. I wasn't expecting the caliber of comedy from the show. It's very good. It's
And
very. It's
Shut
very
your mouth.
surprising.
Walking Dead is amazing.
Yeah, let's
Nope.
not open that can of worms.
Nope.
Let's not.
Nope.
I did take Brian's advice on one other show, and then I'm going to shut up for a bit. And I think I talked about this. I am now current on iZombie.
Yes,
This show
That's
is
a great
great.
show. Yeah,
It's
That's a
everything I
great
liked
show.
about Psych, and then everything else that I love about television.
That's after
Good
Nickelodeon
writing.
killed iCarly.
yes, exactly.
She
It's
turned into iZombie.
God. Anywho, we'll skip that reference. You know what else has been surprisingly good, and you're both going to scoff at me? Scream Queens.
Yeah, scoff. Move on. Scoff and move on. Scoff and move on.
Are you done? I can't even defend why Scream Queens is good.
Scoff.
Scoff and move on.
Fine,
Wait,
fine,
wait.
fine. You know, fine. So
Hold on.
Wait,
Wait.
is it because of the acting?
no,
Scoff. Scoff.
fine. So that leaves the question. Well, what do I skip? Skip Minority Report.
That was
I
awful.
didn't even get through episode 2 of that show, to be honest. And honestly, I'm on the fence about Limitless. I've been watching it. It's one of those shows that one bad episode is just I'm gonna drop it entirely.
So to wrap up fall TV, we can agree that we're recommending Blind Spot. We can agree that we're recommending Heroes Reborn,
And Scream Queens.
and we can say that Scoff Scream Queens is worth a watch, if only to see Jamie Lee Curtis because she's wonderful.
She is wonderful.
And
She's
also,
wonderful in
how
it.
can we be complaining about the Starbucks cups if we don't know that Glenn is alive?
Oh, shut up.
Don't
First of all,
understand it.
he is alive. I got news for you. Here,
I know he's alive. I know he's
hang
alive.
on.
And let's
I'm
not get
going
into
to-
this too much.
No,
Let's not get
I'm
into
just
this.
going
too
to say this one thing. I'm not caught up with the show. I know all about the mysterious fate of Glenn. He's alive, but
No
he
doubt.
will die by the end of this season. Telling
Yes,
you
I
right
agree.
now.
Yes,
Okay.
I agree. So let's move on.
He will
with
die in a
some-
much more
what-
gruesome way.
What show is that?
the
Walking
show
Dead.
that we dare not name in front of you.
It's not Voldemort. It's Walking Dead. Just
No, it's his Voldemort. I don't want to be yelled at. You know when you bring up Scream Queens and the two of us like,
I'm not
"We're-
scared of it.
You know when you bring up Scream Queens and we stop letting you talk? If I say The Walking Dead, Josh is just going to cut me off and never let me finish.
Because it's dumb.
See, it's not.
It's-
Here's something really cool.
It's boring.
Here is something really cool. There is an Android application, and it's called DreamLab. And what DreamLab is doing is this. It's taking your sleeping smartphone. It's acting as an alarm clock for you, and it's helping out the Australia's Garver Institute of Medical Research and the Vodafone Foundation to help cure cancer. So here's how this thing works. It is Android only, so just iPhone users, you can't do this. So shame on you. I'm just kidding. What they'll do is you download this app, you plug it in, you connect to some Wi-Fi so you don't use all your mobile data, And what this is doing is obviously with careful permissions. It's using a string of smartphones throughout the world to act as a supercomputer to help calculate equations, crunch data, to kind of go over operations that they're running day to day. And it's actually running formulas to help cure cancer. It's taking smartphones, linking it together as a huge network so that way they don't have to buy supercomputers. And you're getting a practical use out of it because your phone is still charging and being used as an alarm clock. And using it this way processes data 3,000 times faster than some of the computers that they have access to right now. So
this app links your cell phone with a whole bunch of other people's cell phones to calculate data.
Essentially. And the way
and at the end of the day, they'll find out that the answer is 42. Got it.
Yeah.
So with obviously, I'm sure that cancer survivors are in some of our families in some way, and the whole topic is sensitive for all of us. And I'll say that if something as simple as starting an app on my phone could somehow help the advancement of the research for a cure, I would absolutely do that. I would obviously research the vulnerabilities of the app and things
not sure
like
how
that.
I feel about my stuff getting linked to other people's stuff.
I'm Brian, I'm with you 100%. I completely understand what you were talking about with the supercomputer and the ultimate answer to life, the universe, and everything. I think that it's a sensitive topic, especially when it comes to privacy, but anything that I could possibly do to contribute to the research to help find a cure or somehow to elongate the lives and reduce the suffering of folks with cancer would be something that I would want to do.
Yeah, this app helps with basically computing data for breast cancer, prostate cancer, ovarian, pancreatic. Just to name a few of the ones that they run tests on. And it's basically just really kind of getting them the big picture of the research that they need to do. Because believe it or not, even nowadays, supercomputer time costs not only a lot of money, but if you do something incorrectly, you've wasted millions of dollars. Because while entering a code, someone pressed a 2 instead of a 4. Running off of a free Android application, obviously, it doesn't cost them anything to do that. So, obviously, as we were talking about, the privacy aspect of this is very important. So, obviously, these two huge companies, again, it's Australia's Garvan Medical Institute and Vodafone, the Vodafone Foundation. I mean, they're not out to get your data and stuff. They're obviously out to get it. This is actually not the first time this type of technology or this thought has been used before. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Kim.com.
Nope.
If you're not, if you may be familiar with megaupload.com.
That I've
heard of it, yeah.
Yep. So that was the big file sharing website for those people who don't know. It was hosted out of a server area in Australia. It was basically known for its security, but at the end of the day, it was about its big piracy and torrenting capabilities. People were downloading movies and music and stuff off of it. But Kim.com is actually a pretty smart guy when it comes to the internet. And noticing the way that the internet is being used nowadays, that most of it is mobile devices, Wi-Fi networks, and things like that, he's actually proposing a new structure to the internet, which actually uses this kind of technology. And this is where I say, that's freaking creepy. Let's not do this.
Well, in that respect, it sounds like a network of seeds and leechers, the way that torrent channels are, right?
Sort of, but it's actually now, instead of your website being hosted on a web server on GoDaddy or One-on-One or any of those companies, you can host it on a small personal server at your house and then uses the processing power from all the devices that are connected to a network. There
are and have been since the beginning of the internet, P2P servers that are completely safe and thoroughly useful for exactly this type of large data processing ventures. And I think that that's absolutely something critical, something that needs to be explored. And especially when you consider how many devices are turned on and have internet access all the time when they're dormant.
Right.
Especially if you can confine it like permission wise to devices that are plugged in and charging and are also awake. In that case, we could use the bandwidth worldwide to generate unlimited processing power.
So
Unlimited power.
Just to put this in perspective, they said if only 100 million smartphones have this kind of application and they use this process, they will have more bandwidth and calculating power than the 10 largest websites in the world combined.
Then we need to get Apple users involved.
But that's the reason that Apple users aren't surviving is the firewall and the security that Apple's built into it.
I'm just saying,
I agree.
Apple and their interest in helping folks, they have to be looking into this.
So we're going to obviously get more into this. As Josh said, this is a topic that's important to a lot of people, and it's impacted probably everybody's lives in some way, shape, or form. So we are going to have an article kind of digging deeper into this, giving you more background information, giving you a little more idea of what this app can do for you as a user, but also for the world. So make sure to check it out on thatkindofnerd.com. Keep looking at our Twitter feed. We'll definitely make sure that we kind of keep you in the loop as to when that's published for you. Our Twitter feed is at thatkindofnerd. So make sure that we got that all set up for you guys. So since we had talked about the Mythbusters earlier, I did want to take the opportunity real quick because this is bothering me because during the holiday season, you buy toys and devices for people that have batteries in them. And then every year when people are opening the gifts and I give them batteries, I now have to listen to people give me their great ideas as to how to make your batteries last longer, and it's all bullshit, and I can't take it anymore.
Wait, people suggest to you how to make batteries last longer?
Oh, yes, sir. Absolutely.
Brian, has that ever happened to you?
It does not, but I actually seek out people in like the Walmart parking lot and tell people how to make their batteries last longer.
I wonder, like, are you for real, CJ? People
I'm serious.
give you advice on making batteries last longer?
My family thinks that this is their thing. They got it. The Melons have figured out batteries.
Listen.
They have not.
Always keep kitty litter in your trunk. Never go to bed angry, and put your batteries in the refrigerator. Those are the 3 simple keys of life.
Put your batteries in the refrigerator.
Let's start with that because that's an actual one that's there.
Well, hold on. Before we get started, I also want to point out that a 72-pack of AA batteries is like $17. So are we really talking about things that cost basically 25 cents a piece?
But what if there's a battery shortage? You don't know.
Are they going to be currency? Is there something that I don't know?
Yes. When Judgment Day happens, they become currency.
We're not supposed to talk about this on the air. That was the rule.
What is happening that we're talking about?
The Men in Black are going to be coming.
I want to hear your stories.
They're going to be coming, and they're going to say you weren't supposed to tell them about the currency issue. I can't deal with that.
So 4 batteries is like 32 cents.
But also, listen, some of this doesn't just apply to like, AA and AAAs. This also applies to, lithium batteries and stuff that's built into people's devices. But first off, yes, let's talk about this since someone decided to bring it up. Store your batteries in the refrigerator to make them last longer.
No.
For the love of God, do not do that.
No.
Like, first off, let me be really clear. That is a little dangerous. Extreme temperatures with the hot and cold can sometimes cause your batteries to explode.
There is nothing dangerous about it. I love my mashed potatoes with a little bit of battery acid in them. Fantastic.
There's nothing like having
just
a little corroded... do you pepper it over your mashed potatoes?
There's no need because you put the batteries in a Ziploc bag next to the mashed potatoes. It leaks through the bag, gets a little bit in there, and then you just kind of stir it up.
Gives it its flavor.
I use the pre-made mashed potatoes in the refrigerated section. Yeah,
no,
absolutely.
You do not.
Listen. No. Those mashed potatoes are $5.
No,
the same price as several pounds of potatoes that I would have to peel, chop, boil, mash, whip.
You are talking about the difference between Taco Bell meat and going to a place that specializes in tacos.
Listen, for the most part, I don't ever serve potatoes with anything I make because gross. But my wife loves mashed potatoes.
Yeah, that is
Yeah, CJ, anything that you would serve potatoes with, I would make a wild mushroom risotto and serve those things over that.
Ew, mushrooms, God. What is wrong with you?
Or some other starch that is just slightly more sophisticated.
Listen, I don't care how many freaking fancy words you put around mushroom. It's still disgusting.
Yes.
You're a child.
And I am way too Irish to not see mashed potatoes as a piece of every meal.
And you can also like put a little hole in them, and you'd pour your battery acid in the middle of the hole.
I put my peas in it, but you're right. The battery acid would be a lot better.
Oh yeah, totally.
So listen, here's the other one. Leaving your devices plugged in will overcharge them.
There is such a thing as too much power.
There is. So here's the deal. Smartphones, laptops, and other things like that, they have different types of batteries in them than they used to. If you leave them plugged in every single night, that'll definitely have an impact on your lifespan of your battery. But I mean, like,
here's the thing that I hate about articles like this. There's nickel cadmium and nickel metal hydride, your old style batteries, could absolutely be overcharged and suffered from what was called the trickle charge, and they would lose power, so on and so forth. Lithium ion batteries don't quite operate the same way, but are more susceptible to things like heat. So leaving your device plugged in for too long a time, using it while it's plugged in, letting it overheat, that's detrimental. And frankly, folks, you don't need to charge your iPhone every time it hits 75%. Right. Let that thing run down. Like, theoretically, you should hover between 80 and 30% all day and then recharge it. You don't need to recharge it all the way full. That's not going to help anything necessarily, but 30 to 80, not going to hurt you. Below that, low battery, more heat, things like that, detrimental operations and whatnot. High power, too much heat as well. Just look, don't plug them in all the time. You don't need to.
Right. Which goes into the other part too, that some people say that you need to let your battery like completely drain the first time.
No.
Right? Don't need to do that either, right?
This was written, I swear to God, CJ, this was written by that Russian guy that's always asking you for the typewriter ribbons.
Do you have typewriter ribbon?
This is the same guy, because he still has nickel cadmium batteries on his Nokia 3130.
But see, this is the thing. Since we're nerds, right? This is so commonplace knowledge to us. My mom, my aunts, they still follow this stuff. This is the stuff that, like, when I get something for Christmas and it's a gadget, and I'm like, oh, cool, thanks. They're like, oh, make sure that the battery's all the way dead.
Don't forget to charge it all the way the first time.
Yeah, please make sure it's... No, like, don't... Stop that. Like, people need to realize that these myths are super old, just like you're saying.
Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't we say this? It's important when you get a device to check what kind of battery it has. Some batteries do need to be charged overnight the first time. Things like Power Wheels and the like, right? But most electronic devices that all of us own, and those are the things that we're being given as gifts, have lithium ion batteries. Some have lithium polymer batteries and require even less. So just check what kind of battery you have. And if you're curious about it, why don't you go ahead and Google it?
I'm sorry, what? I don't know. What?
Why don't you go ahead and Google it?
Google?
Yeah, just Google it. Put it out there.
See, these are the things that I'm so glad that we have you and Brian here, because these are the types of things that bother me. It's like people that tell me that because I pause my TV while I'm making dinner, that my image is going to burn into my screen. I have an LED television. No, it is not. Shut up.
Whoa. Yeah, it's going to happen. You're going to pause that, yo gabba gabba, and then you're going to have to live with that image forever. Wow. That show is screwed up. I don't care who you are. I watched one episode with a young child once, and I'm like, you should not watch this.
My kids, still to this day, when the leaves start turning, they come out, they go to the car, they're like, it is fall. It is fall. The leaves are falling everywhere. That's because it's fall. And it's that's a yo gabba gabba thing that I just can't break them of. Or maybe it's not them. It might be my wife that does it.
The dude in the orange fuzzy suit with the giant orange, like, British Army fuzzy hat. No.
He's
freaking great. He haunts my dreams. I'm sorry.
Somehow this article about batteries brought him right out of you, huh?
It's like I
was like, were you just looking for an excuse to vent about Yo Gabba Gabba?
Yes.
Finally, batteries. I'll make it work.
For my voice. Do not watch Yo Gabba Gabba.
Well,
stick with Dora. Stick
Jack
with Diego.
Black episode
You're good.
Is pretty good.
I'll even allow you to watch Paw Patrol. No Yo Gabba Gabba.
Are we legitimately having a conversation about Yo Gabba Gabba? Because you just mentioned a Jack Black episode of it.
Yeah. My kids watched it every day. I know all the songs. It's
and
crazy.
you know what? They are better people than I, because I had a nightmare, like legit, after that freaking show.
It's creepy. It's creepy for sure.
Creepy doesn't cover it. It does not cover it. I thought Teletubbies are creepy.
No,
this is like a whole
Yo Gabba
new
Gabba has a character named Fupa.
This is like the children's version of Slender Man. He's just an orange fuzz. Ugh.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so pushing us back on the rails. Are there
Whoa,
any...
is this not the Yo Gabba Gabba podcast?
This is not the Yo Gabba Gabba podcast.
Can we talk about Dora?
No.
Okay. Well,
No, we
then
cannot.
I'm out of topics. Sorry, I'm out.
But like that, there's myths out there, people. That listen, it's 2015, and it's
The myth
about
being
time.
that it's okay for your kids to watch Yo Gabba Gabba. It's not.
Dude, DJ Lance Rock is gonna haunt your dreams
Oh my
forever.
God. All right.
I'm sorry, you were trying to bring us back on track.
Nah, I've given up on it. It's just there's no hope. Anyway, here's something random for you guys. I didn't give you guys a heads up about this. I think this is pretty freaking awesome.
Is it more random than my Yo Gabba Gabba rant?
Maybe, I don't know. I'll let you be the judge.
We'll see.
Apparently, guys, the future is here because Dubai,
Judgment Day?
the city of Dubai, has purchased 20 jetpacks from the Martin Aircraft Company to give to their first responder firefighters in the event of an emergency, because they have some of the world's tallest buildings, and the best way to evacuate people is to strap some jetpacks on and go pick people up.
Like the
This
Rocketeer?
is a bad idea.
This is an amazing idea. What are you talking about?
They have a jetpack that goes up to 3,000 feet, and it can go at a top speed of 45 miles an hour.
Yes.
They arranged this video.
Shut up and take my money.
They've arranged this video. I'm sure that you've seen it on the internet of these two jetpacks flying next to a 747, just spinning around it, just doing choreographed moves around it. It's obviously in a controlled environment. Two douchebags just didn't go up and fly next to a plane to show people that these jetpacks are in fact a reality. They are in no means affordable. They are $150,000 a piece. And they're basically helping people. They're using it in conjunction with drones as well.
So what government agency do I need to join to use jetpacks?
You got to go to Dubai.
Okay.
So wait, hold on. So this is evacuation protocol, right?
I don't know. If you give a firefighter a jetpack, I don't care what country you're in, they're going to dick around with it for a little bit.
Well, I want to know how long does the fuel last?
So you ready for the fun part? There's two ways to do this, because the average flight time is about 30 minutes per jetpack. And obviously they have a couple floating around there. The fun part is that the jetpacks can be flied unmanned, remotely land on the floor, and take two people at a time back to safety.
30 minutes at what, what weight capacity? With pilot, 30 minutes?
They didn't give specifics. I wish I had that.
The reason I'm asking that, right? You said they can travel up to 45 miles per hour.
Top speed is 45, right?
Sure, they're going 3,000 feet in the air. That's a mile is 5,280. So if they're traveling at 45 miles an hour, they'll get there at 27 seconds or something like that. So, I mean, how many trips can they make?
I'm not sure. I don't know how large the buildings are, what kind of floors that they're going to, but I mean they've bought a couple. They have 20 of them, so I'm sure they'll bring all 20 and then take the time to go ahead and do that. I mean, 30 minutes a piece with 20 jetpacks, that's enough to go ahead and get some people evacuated, or at least get people to a safe situation, or figure out the way to get around it.
How long do they take to charge after they're dead?
I don't know what kind of fuel they take.
Right,
You
and
need to
charging
completely
wouldn't be
drain
the-
the battery before charging them again.
Charging wouldn't be the problem. It's what kind of fuel do they take? Is
That's
it
true.
combustible?
Right. I'm not a salesperson for the jetpacks, but the fact is, this is a reality that they're coming into. So what they have here, the standard practice is they will take a drone, they'll fly it through the spot where the jetpack would go to, see if there's any other exit points before they send somebody up. If there's another way, they go ahead and instruct the people to go that way before they actually send the person with the jetpack. So the jetpack is like the last resort thing, but it's there for the first responders to get people who are completely stranded in and out of a dangerous situation. That's absolutely crazy talk, and that's ridiculously awesome. It's so freaking cool.
So all I'm hearing is that we're like just a few years away from me being the Rocketeer.
Yes.
Awesome.
I'll post a picture in our show notes of these jetpacks, just so you're all aware. This is not the Rocketeer size jetpack. It's basically like putting a motorcycle cab on your back and then flying around. So it's like a sidecar of a motorcycle. That's the size of the engine system. Josh, are you researching these jetpacks and doing the math? Just in case you guys missed it, you saw the beautiful mind that is Josh Burns as he goes through and calculates the numbers.
Well, I'm just thinking, if they had to go all the way to the top floor, it would take no more than 48 seconds. So I'm figuring if you got to go 2/3 of the way up, that's going to take you 32 seconds. How many trips? I'm truly like curious about. I'm intrigued by this whole possibility of up and down rescue missions, things like that. That sounds cool.
I mean, and the other thing too is it's not always just for grabbing people. It also is, again, they use the drones. It's to say, hey, fly up to that floor, tell them, get off this stairwell, follow the drone. Go ahead and do this. The drone doesn't always have a microphone attached to it. Or, hey, give me, someone who's injured. And the rest of you able-bodied people take this route instead. I mean, these large skyscrapers have huge protocols built into it, better than other times that this has happened.
The only time I've ever seen any sort of evacuation from one of those is when Vin Diesel jumped a car from one to the next to the next. So
that was intense.
Other than jumping the world's fastest car out of windows and down however many stories, I don't know how you would get out of a burning building. Especially considering you can actually see the curve of the earth from the top of the largest building in Dubai. So, I mean, it's not like it's a little fall. Anyone who's seen Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol has vomited at the mere, like just the sheer possibility of looking down at that. So I can't imagine.
I imagine if you're a base jumper and you go off that building, you have enough time to sit down, pull out an iPad, read some that kind of nerd articles. Decide if you're going to subscribe to the podcast or take our podcast survey. Once you do that, then you have the time to look down, take a couple photographs, and then, of course, pull your parachute. Make sure you don't die. So, jetpacks, saving people's lives in Dubai. They're not just for dicking around anymore. There's a practical use to help them out. Did you ever think you would see that day? I sure as hell didn't. Here it is.
I truly didn't. I'd love to see some video on that.
The future is now. And Brian, I know that at this there are $150,000. I'm sure with your palatial estate, you can get one. That way you can go ahead and try it out. And just remember, ladies, you can come over and try the jetpack. The cat-to-male ratio is rather low. There's no need to be scared.
Why don't you just rent out a wing? If you rented out a wing.
Yeah.
I will get little jetpacks for the cats. Let them zip around a little bit and enjoy life a bit.
And as soon as one cat goes up, the cat-to-male ratio is almost non-existent.
Exactly.
There you go. It's basically you shouldn't just bring it up at that point.
I absolutely should. You're right. I will consult the roommate on strapping jetpacks to his cats.
Let me know how Jeff and Lester react to the.
I'll be lucky if I get the freaking jetpack around Lester. She's so big. Anywho, yeah.
Jester on jetpack.
Would you pay the experience to go ahead and get a jetpack, go over a safe environment with like a tour guide, and like how people do like tangent skydiving? Would you do tangent jetpacking? Was that something you would do?
No.
Really?
No, man. I have 2 children. I'm good on land.
Brian, what about you?
I say yes, but when it's in front of me, I'm gonna go no.
Look,
no.
I went bungee jumping when I was
too
a kid.
high.
How was bungee jumping?
No, it's
too high. You cannot do.
It was interesting. It was frightening and not something I would ever do again. So
this sorry, hold on. You reminded me of something that pissed me off. A while ago, a couple of years ago, there was that viral video of people running down this hill with this shoe, and they go on an angle and they walked on water, right? Did you ever see this viral video?
Nope.
No. At the end of it, they kind of sold you the shoe, and then Mythbusters looked at it and said, yeah, this is all fake. So ironically enough, time back to Mythbusters. I was watching this video, and it said, wireless bungee jumping, the future is now. And I was like, the fuck is wireless bungee jumping?
Sounds like dying.
Yeah. Sounds like death.
I watched this thing, and apparently they like put this magnetic, equipment on you.
No, there's no magnet that's strong.
Just listen. Just listen.
I mean,
to
that
this.
would have to be a hell of a magnet.
Just listen. Just follow me through. Then they have 4 gigantic freaking magnets shooting in the right frequencies, where basically you jump.
That would have to be way more powerful than Walter White used to destroy evidence.
Very true. Then you jump and you kind of do this thing, and then you get gracefully lowered down. And I was like, that seems pretty cool. I would never do it in my life. And then
I
I'm
could see jumping off a step ladder and that thing would work, right? But
it wasn't a big jump. It was it's like falling off your roof.
Terminal velocity.
No. It was bungee jumping. It was like jumping off your roof. Essentially, they did small scale. And I was
that's not bungee jumping.
One of those skydiving pillow things where the air blows you up.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, all right. Well,
so I was
okay with
that seems pretty cool.
Sure, but that's not. That's just a bunch of air blowing me up.
I get it, but now there's no air; it's just magnets. And I was like, well, this is cool. I would probably check this out. And then I was like, okay. So I was waiting for the end of the video. Like, all right. So tell me where I can at least look at this and see what kind of stage it's in. And then it turns into this wireless bungee jumping. Not a reality. Wireless charging, possible now. Samsung.
Oh, poor
you son of a bitch.
The other thing that I saw that Laura sent me tonight, as a matter of fact, she sent me this message that I don't know where she saw it. Samsung continues to tell me that I can't tell you I love you if I don't have a Note 5. Can the iPhone not express love? And I immediately so I'm digging into my gifts, right? She sends me a bunch of emojis that clearly express love, and I send her a SpongeBob blowing a kiss. I send her Rachel McAdams doing the I love you thing from whatever movie that was, and then I send her the Forrest Gump, I'm not a smart man, but I know what love is. And I think and her only response was, suck it, Samsung. So clearly Samsung doesn't need to tell us what is and is not available, including wireless charging. Nobody cares, Samsung.
Nobody needs wireless charging.
No, you know why? Because your wireless charger
is in the same spot.
You're going to leave that somewhere, and you can't take it with you. I have my little Mophie and my Anchor and all my other things that go wherever I want, and they're not wireless because I plug into them, but I can put them in my pocket and walk around with them. And my inductive charger, I can't.
Listen, I think wireless charging is cool. In the state that it's in right now, it's pretty much useless. Get it so that I can just put it down anywhere in my house, and my whole house is like, I've got you covered, bro. But not that gives me cancer, because then I have to download the Android app to not get cancer.
That's kind of like the same. That's like your idea about the self-drying clothes. You're just asking to be electrocuted everywhere you go.
First off, that is not my idea of self-driving clothes. That is from Back to the Future,
static
sir.
electricity, you are screwed.
All I gotta do is come. I gotta go to my desk, and I just set my phone on my desk, which is electrically charged all the time.
No,
and it just charges my phone.
Hold on, actually, I found this. God damn it! I don't have the article to pull up, so I'm very sorry, and I'll have to bring it up next week and post something about it. There is a technology that uses Wi-Fi signal to charge a battery. They're developing it as actually a reality. It's really cool. Again, I have to read more, so please don't hold me to.
Nobody believes you.
Sounds like electricity traveling through the air, and I don't
think
want
that's
that to happen.
Yeah, no.
Thanks for that. I appreciate it.
No problem. You're welcome.
All right. So I think that pretty much concludes this podcast. Thank you for sticking around and dealing with us. I always apologize to you, listener, but I think you kind of like us. You've been doing this week to week.
You're so depreciating of yourself and us. And I don't care so much about you hating phenomenal. Yourself, but it's the us that I'm not really jiving on.
You guys are great.
Thanks for sticking around with me. I'm freaking wonderful.
You absolutely are.
I have a palace estate with rocket packs and cats.
But the cat-to-meal ratio is rather low. Speaking of the cat-to-meal ratio being rather low, we still have an opportunity for you to get a cat-to-meal ratio is rather low t-shirt. All you have to do is call our Google Voice line, which is 484-373-4119. leave us a message with some feedback about the show or a random topic or something nerdy that you want to share with the world. Just make it a little relevant to what we're talking about. We'll obviously play some of the best ones on the podcast. We've got one this week from a listener as well, so I'm going to include that at the end of the show. Winners are going to be selected by random selection. I'm hoping to give everybody one, though, but in case we get too many people, I want to be able to kind of slim it down. You are eligible until November 30th of 2015, and that's just how I'm feeling right now. I may extend it.
Winners will be chosen Hunger Games style.
That sounds about right, actually. And if you want to volunteer as tribute, just make sure you include that in your voicemail. Otherwise, you're going in the drawing. And then we've got to put a wig and some eyeliner on Josh and make him read out the names. So make sure to leave a message so that way you can go ahead and get your voice onto our podcast. Also, please, if you really could, this would be fantastic. Take the time to do a small survey about our show overall. I know some of you had done this in the past. We've just updated a little bit, just asking some more questions about the way that you consume the show. We want to make sure that this is your show. We want to make sure that you guys have a voice on it. So link to that in the show notes. Make sure to keep following us on Twitter and staying current with what's going on. And again, if you catch an error, you catch us speaking out of term. And when I say us, I really mean me because I'm the one making the mistakes.
Both
don't be afraid
of our error messages are about you.
That's fine.
Just going to point that out.
I'm only human.
I'm just saying.
I'm only human.
But nothing about me or Josh.
I'm only human. Anyway. So make sure that you call us out on it. Thank you so much for making us your walk around the neighborhood or your drive to work. It means the world to us. Thank you so much for listening.
And may the odds be ever in your favor.
Yes. And don't watch Yo Gabba Gabba. For the love of God.
Well, that kind of nerd listener, before I give you our funny Easter eggs, I wanted to take the opportunity to thank our super fan, Ellen, who called in and left a comment on our telephone line so she can go ahead and be entered into the drawing for a free t-shirt. She left some feedback about Supergirl, a little bit about our show, and how she was missing Josh when he was gone. Let's face it, the world times were tough. But anyway, here is Ellen's message to the That Kind of Nerd team.
Hi, TJ. It's Ellen. I really want a shirt. Can you send me a shirt? Did I need to do anything other than ask for a shirt? I promise that I will send you a picture of it. If you want actual feedback on content, I watched Supergirl. I did not like it. And once I listened to your analysis of it, I totally agree. That's exactly what was wrong with it. It went too fast. They developed everything, and it felt like a whirlwind. I didn't particularly like it. I don't think it's going to last very long. And yet, I watched the second episode as well. So, I don't know. There's that. I was really bored, though. And I didn't remember any of the other shows that you said that you had recommended. Anyway, I'll keep listening to you guys and bring Josh back. I missed him last episode. Goodbye.
You were wrong. I found his son. I found his son.
That's me!
Damn it, Murray!
There you go.
Anywho.
Unlimited power!
There is nothing dangerous about it. I love my mashed potatoes with a little bit of battery acid in them.
Why don't you go ahead and Google it?